Welcome back to the WTF podcast. Yo, y'all, I got a crazy special guest, Zach. Um, I'm gonna let him do his introduction because you know what, he kind of deserves it. You know what I mean. Like he definitely needs the floor. So yeah, man, how have you been?
I've been good, man. Just doing a lot of work, trying to keep up on everything that AI is doing right now. So,
Oh, okay. No, get into it. Like, what do you what have you been doing specifically? You know what I mean, or what have you been working on specifically?
yeah, 100%. So, I run a marketing agency right here in the Treasure Valley. We've got two different offers, done for you and done with you. So, kind of the
Mm.
education and then the implementation side. Um, in late January, a new AI software came out called OpenClaw. And so, I've been using it for multiple use cases, basic stuff like writing documents and more advanced stuff like putting bots in my Slack channel where clients can go in and if they want their KPIs analyzed,
Okay.
they can submit their KPIs and this bot will analyze the data and give them a summary on where their ads can perform better, if it's the sell side or if it's the marketing itself. So,
Cool.
tons of different use cases and just kind of nerding out about that the past couple months.
Right? That's awesome. Dude, that's really cool. I feel like AI is such a big like topic of discussion nowadays and it's really neat how AI, like a lot of people see AI as like a bad thing, but a lot of the time it's like I see AI as a tool, you know what I mean? Like it's
100%.
like a great tool for not only just, for the business side of things, but just you know what I mean? Like it's like Google on steroids, you know what I mean? Saying like you have a question and it could be answered in a flash, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know, AI is great. I think it's neat. Sometimes yeah, the fear of AI, I think it's here, you know what I mean?
It's a
And
little freaky.
yeah, it's a little freaky, but I feel like it's, you know what I mean? Like I feel like we're gonna grow with it, you know what I'm saying? And that's one thing that I've been telling people to not really fear is that like you just have to do your own research, A, and then B, just getting into it. It's fascinating to me. Like I've always been into tech and stuff like that. Shout out to my dad, but like ever since AI kind of got released, it's been a really cool thing to just watch it grow and watch people like use it in certain different ways. I don't know if you've like ever seen like Sora and like
Oh,
those
yeah.
the video AIs. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, that's crazy. Like recently I think they got like taken down for a little bit because people were making like straight up anime like before the studios could even release it. So they were like taking the manga, putting it in the AI system and like releasing the anime before it even like comes out. So people were like getting freaked out. And apparently studios were losing money. I don't know. That's kind of like what I've seen on like online, but yeah, dude, AI is great. But yeah, man, are you from here or
I'm not from here,
okay, cool.
so yeah, originally I'm from Missouri.
What? Okay, cool.
Yeah,
All right, cool.
currently 22 years old. Moved to St. George, Utah when I was 16, graduated high school there, and then I got up to the Treasure Valley in October of 2024.
Awesome. Hell yeah. No, I just kind of you just look like a Boise boy, so I'm like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
he's from here. He's from here, you know what I mean? We whatever. But I think that's cool, bro. How is Missouri? Like I've never really met someone from Missouri, so I don't know. I'm kind of interested, you know.
Yeah, man. I always tell people like Missouri's not a bad place, but it's somewhere you either want to go to retire or you're not there by. Um,
Okay, okay.
yeah, the Midwest as a whole is it's not as nice as the West, like Idaho
Mhm.
or even some would say California. It just
Yeah.
really depends. But Missouri's not a bad place. It's humid and a lot of bugs. We
Right.
got like chiggers and stuff like that,
Oh,
so
okay.
you got to be careful with the bugs.
Right.
But there's some cool things about it. We've got like alligator gar in the river out there, and
Mm.
those are like alligator fish,
What the
and
heck?
they get like 7 foot long.
Holy
And
crap, that's crazy.
yeah,
I'm a fishing guy, so like when you get into fishing and all that, and just the wildlife in general, and it's a huge thing here, you know, in Idaho.
yeah,
But wildlife in general always fascinates me too. It's just great to go to different places and see all these different like bugs, birds, fish. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Because recently I went to Florida, and Florida was a crazy experience where like it's similar to Idaho in which it's like the culture is similar, you know what I mean? It's like free in a way, but dude, the amount of bugs out there is crazy. And as soon as you step off the plane, it's just humidity, you know what I'm
a
saying?
100%.
It's like the complete opposite in terms of like cuz here we have like the dry heat, but over there it's like a moist heat. You know what I'm saying?
You'll be sweating just doing nothing.
Yeah.
Dang.
Yeah. But like, so I kind of want to get into like, dude, like the whole business side of things. Like, what do you do exactly? And it's to me, I see you all like I see ads of you like all over Instagram and stuff like that. So I just think it's fascinating, you know. So if you can, like get into it, the whole
Yeah.
marketing thing.
So yeah, I've got the marketing agency. We've got Done With You, Done For You, and I've been doing that for about 2 years now.
Oh wow, cool.
And so moved up here to kind of expand.
Yeah.
We've helped all different kinds of businesses from law firms, detailers, arborists.
That's awesome.
We have a private equity client. So we're pretty broad with who we can help.
Cool.
We just try to come with like a customized approach to each business
Mm-hmm.
because different funnels will work better or worse for certain business models.
Cool.
And then recently, since OpenClaw came out, I started up another company with a friend.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're just 50-50 partners, and we're installing AI employees into business
Wow.
to track inventory, manage staff, just really whatever they need, just
That's awesome.
completely custom builds.
That's really
So-
cool. All right, cool. Yeah, because I think recently I seen you with like it was probably the car dealer or the car detailer, and I was like, dude, this guy's everywhere. You know what I'm saying? And it's really cool. Thank you again for hopping on the podcast. This is really
Absolutely.
cool. And you're young. You're 22. That's crazy, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like that's awesome. I think getting you on the podcast now and documenting kind of like the growth is really cool. You know what I mean? And I would have expected you've been in it for longer than 2 years. So just I think the way you approach like folks and stuff like that, it's really professional. It's just really cool, you know.
Yeah.
And another thing too is it's great that because a lot of people here in Idaho don't necessarily have that online presence.
Right.
So I remember we were talking about it like through the DMs. I think it's really nice that you've given people the opportunity to be like, hey, let me help you out, and not only that, let me scale like your market. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's really cool. For a lot of people here, they don't have any idea what to do in terms of like the social media thing. So I just think it's great, you know, especially because I don't know, a lot of people see Idaho as like an old fashioned kind of thing. So
100%.
I think it's really cool.
I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's why we wanted to do the Done With You offer. That was the first offer I ever came out with. I was selling it in St. George, and then it was the first thing I was selling when I got here as well. And it allows business owners who maybe they're at like 10K a month, they're not at 50K or a multiple 7-figure business.
Yep.
They're still able to do social media marketing
Mhm.
that works for them without paying an agency $5,000-6,000 a month
Right.
every single month.
Right. Yeah. The done with you thing is cool. I think that's awesome. It's a great structure and it gives people that freedom and that customization like you were saying before. I think it's great.
Yeah.
So what did you do before, or like you got into like the scaling and all that stuff?
Yeah, so fresh out of high school, I started pouring concrete.
Okay.
So
I get it. I get it.
yeah, I was pouring concrete and then started studying for my life and health insurance license
Oh,
in
okay.
the state of Utah. So started selling health and life insurance, and that's kind of where I came to the realization of like, well, this is a commission only role.
Mm.
I got to figure out how to get in front of people that need insurance.
Right.
And so I paid for like these little $500 webinars that were like, 2 days, and it's like, oh, post times and
Right.
just a bunch of crap, honestly.
Yeah.
And
Trust. I get it.
yeah, slowly worked up and then invested in Alex Ramosey's Ad Mastery program.
Okay.
Because you just pay for it month to month. I was in there for 8 months.
Oh, wow.
Dan Martell, just a lot of those guys have
Yeah.
gotten money from me. So
Right. That's cool. And a lot of the time, I feel you on the web seminar stuff. A lot of the time, they give you like 30% or 40% of the sauce. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
But it is what it is. Like I've always find it interesting still to listen to those folks because you can always it always sparks an idea or something to improve your game. You know what I mean?
100%.
So I think it goes both ways. And that's why I don't know. I've always thought about doing like creating my own class, quote unquote. But dude, it takes a lot of work. I'm sure.
Yeah, 100%. And I really love Alex Ramosey's school platform. If you've seen it,
Not get into it.
it's picture Shopify,
Oh, okay.
but
Right.
for online classroom. So you can
Mm.
go in and you can just make a video. It's got all the modules. You can just go in there and set it up.
Okay,
This
wow.
is module 1, 2, 3, and then just make a bunch of videos to stick in there. You can upload documents for like external resources.
Wow.
So it's pretty nice.
Huh.
That's what I run. So with the Done With You, these people get 3 levels of support. They get self-paced support, which is an online classroom with all the information on me literally sharing my screen, setting up ads so they know, oh, I just got to click this button and this button.
Mm.
Um, some of our clients are, 50 years old and
Right.
struggle on how to make a post.
Yep. Yeah. No. Seriously. Trust. Yep. So that's nice hands on. That is nice hands on, and it gives, like I said before, it gives folks the opportunity to also like have their hand in it. You know what I mean? And that's why I think
100%.
it's really cool. I think it's great. Um, but yeah, man, I think overall, like, what do you have any like goals, or do you have any like future businesses you'd like to work with, or do you guys kind of just keep it like open?
Yeah, so right now we're keeping it open.
Oh, cool.
A lot of people say to niche down,
Mm-hmm.
but ultimately what I would like to do is keep building the team on the done with you and done for you side. So that way it's automated.
Yeah.
When someone comes in, they have like a dedicated client success manager.
Okay. Cool.
Walks them through it, helps them, or runs their ad campaigns for them. Um, and then find maybe like 5 to 10 clients that we do on like a net profit share, revenue share, and
Okay.
just develop that relationship.
Okay. Cool.
So that's the vision for the next 5 years, I'd
Right.
say.
Okay, cool. That's cool. No, that's awesome. I kind of figured that was the thing, but like you said, sometimes people have like those niche businesses they like to target. So I think it's great that you keep it open. It could be anywhere from a florist company to a concrete company. It's just really cool. I think it's fascinating.
100%.
Um, in recent times, what were kind of like your favorite businesses to work with?
Yeah, the lawyer was a lot of fun.
Okay,
Um,
cool.
so yeah, we helped them in the local market, and then we decided we wanted to go nationwide.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was we built her contract template store and marketed that. So it was integrated with AI, and we ran the ads nationwide. So when someone went to the Shopify store and purchased a template, AI would automatically take their details. They'd throw in their business name, their service, and it would optimize that contract to be specific for them instead of going to a lawyer and paying them $3,000, $4,000 to write an operating agreement. You
Right.
know,
Yeah, yeah, no, right. That's an interesting no, that's interesting you say that, because I mean, luckily I've never had to deal with a lawyer, but because I haven't got I'm a good boy, but
that's good.
right?
I like
Yeah.
that.
But at the same time, like, I know how what a struggle could be. Like, sometimes you have to pay a lawyer to even visit them. You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
I don't I'm getting into Daredevil right now, so it's like the whole lawyer scene is crazy, you know what I mean? It's like a whole different world. I think it's cool. Um, so I was gonna ask. I mean, that's cool because I had like the idea that you were from here and all that stuff, but I had a question where it was like, would you go out of like out of state to do any like to do business? Let's say in Seattle. You know what I mean? Would is that like kind of an option, or do you guys mainly kind of focus on the valley?
Yeah, 100%.
Cool.
So I don't know, the last 18 months we've been focusing on the vet. We have clients in St. George and in Salt Lake right now,
Okay.
but that's definitely the goal is to eventually go nationwide. Um, with running ads, we like to run ads in one city in particular. So say
Right.
we're going after Boise, never been here before. We're going to run ads just in Boise. Just that way it builds trust. It doesn't seem
Hmm.
like it's, this guy's in, you know,
This
uh,
guy's in Hawaii doing ads in Boise.
yeah, doing ads in Boise, right? Because you don't want to hand somebody your money that isn't going to give you the support that you need.
Yeah.
So we try to focus on one city at a time, and then they all get client success managers where they come in and kind of walk them through that process.
Okay, cool. Cool, cool. Yeah, because basically, so I mean, what I had written down was like, let's say you guys, do have a lot of success, and you guys want to branch out to Seattle, and you guys do eventually take a business trip to Seattle. What's one of like the first things you guys would do?
Yeah, the first thing we would do is film an ad in front of a local spot. Like a lot of the ads you've seen are probably at the Village
Yep.
or the Capitol building. We want to make sure that it has that local feel because
Yeah.
then when people see it, it's like, oh, I know where that is. Like this guy's
Right.
local.
Okay, cool.
So that'd be the first thing we would do. And then yeah, launch the ads, start bringing in clients, and then when clients come in, we always send them just a client avatar form. They fill
Mm.
it out, and it goes over who exactly do you want to get in front of. Is this someone making 100 grand or more per year? Is this a mom? Is this a dad? And
Right.
just diving into exactly who we need to market
Right, and just to bring it up again, I love how customizable it is. You know what I mean?
to.
Because
Yeah,
I've wanted to shoot like ad campaigns and stuff like that, but I've just been I always get so confused like with the whole like audience thing, like you were saying, and it's just it would be nice to have like a manager to walk me through everything. You know what I mean? So with me just having a small like just something small like this, I can only imagine a mom and pop shop would what like a benefit that would have for them. You know what I
yeah.
mean? So I think it's great, man. And like I was saying, I think it's really cool that it gives like opportunities to a lot of like the older generation to help just scale and build, and even if because like whenever because I do videography and stuff like that,
Oh,
whenever I
nice.
go up to folks and like try to get a client, right, a lot of the time it is, especially here, a lot of the time it is like the older crowd, and they're like, oh, social media is it's worthless, and I'd shoot ads on Craigslist and stuff like that. But what I try to tell them is like, hey, dude, a lot of the time it's our new generation that's online. You know what I mean? And a lot of the time it just stems from just being having an online presence, and a lot of the time they don't. So that's kind of
100%.
how I try to sell folks is, like having an online presence is not only great for your business, but it showcases like inventory. It just showcases, the business, if you will. So I think, dude, I think it's great, man. Like I
Heck
said
yeah.
before. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think it's mandatory. I always tell business owners, like, if you think of marketing as a whole, it's changed so much. And I would say if there was one thing
Hmm.
scary about AI, it would be that, like, if people don't adapt, they will get left behind, you know?
Yes.
It's like if you're
Yes.
still marketing in the yellow page, you're probably not going to be making that much money.
Yeah,
So,
the yellow page. That's crazy. Yeah. Is that like a phone book reference or what?
yeah, that's
Okay.
like a
Okay.
phone book reference at the back of the phone book. I always
That's
have
so
the
good.
old Johns come in, like,
Right.
yeah, I built my business on the yellow page. I don't need social media. And
Hmm.
then Google came out in the early 2000s, and now it's like if you're a business doing 50K a month, you're not going to be able to compete with these companies doing multiple six figures a month because they're probably generational. They have way more Google reviews,
Yep.
way bigger budget,
Yep.
and you just can't compete. Where with
Hmm.
social media, you more or less just sell authenticity. Like,
Okay.
this is
Cool.
me. If you want to hire me, do it. If not, then maybe I'm not a good fit for you.
Right.
And people love it. So
All right. Cool. That's awesome. And do you mainly do the marketing on Instagram, or are you guys all over the place, like with Facebook, TikTok, like yeah, like what kind of social media do you guys really focus on, or do you just focus on all of them?
yeah, so we're all in on Meta, so just
Okay,
Facebook
great.
and Instagram.
All right, cool, cool. Yeah, I'm the same way, man. Like, I don't know what it is with TikTok. It's just harder to get into, and I'm so used to using Instagram, especially because I've been posting mainly on Instagram, for the podcast the last 2 years. So I'm kind of more used to the Meta, like the Meta format, if you will.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Sometimes I feel like it might be because I don't know. It's a big debate, especially recently with the whole Meta versus TikTok thing. But I don't know. I just feel like Instagram rewards you a lot more for being consistent.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that I try to tell folks is just trying to stay consistent, like building a structure. You know what I mean? Building a structure and getting and actually like fulfilling it. Because for me, dude, I talk about this all the time on the podcast. For me, I'd go 2 to 3 months posting nonstop, but then I'd get into this massive crash, and that's something that I've learned from is being like, all right, you have to make sure you just have, a schedule, if you will. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So,
Gotta systematize it.
yep, yep. But like, cause recently I've been trying to get into the TikTok thing, but man, it's just I don't know what it is. It must be. I don't know, cause I have a buddy who does like lives on TikTok, and I
Yeah.
feel like lives is the way to go on TikTok sometimes, and that maybe that's just for me seeing like that might be a little what's the word, like placebo, if you not placebo, but I always forget the word, but a little like just like what kind of what I've experienced, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I don't know. For me, it's Instagram, and recently, I've been getting into like the Ray Ban Meta clips,
Oh, nice.
and dude,
Those rip on Meta,
dude, no, dude,
huh?
it's crazy. Like it's absolutely wild. And when you get into it, and well, cause Boise's crazy. So like whenever I go film, like let's say for tomorrow, I usually go downtown on Saturdays to go
Yeah.
film. Dude, I see the craziest things, and that's why it's just so easy to just throw on the glasses and hit record. And yeah, man, it's a great way to just push the Instagram, if you will,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? And just seeing the wildest things. And I don't know, if you haven't gotten a pair of Ray-Ban Metas, bro, I highly recommend it
Yeah, I
because
might
it's
have to. I've been looking at
yeah,
'em.
dude, I recommend them, bro. And that's the thing too is it does there is definitely like a quote unquote boost, but it's also too like you know how it is, you know what I mean? You have to kind of like depict to your audience and all that fun stuff. But man, like ever since I got them, I think I got them like during Black Friday. Dude, I haven't missed, bro. Like it's just a great way, and it's another way to help push that daily content, if
A
you will, you know.
100%, yeah.
So yeah, dude, I don't know. I always be yapping about the Ray Ban Metas because they're a game changer, low key.
Yeah.
And another thing is too, they're kind of convenient. Like you could listen to music with them, you know. So it's
Yeah, I've heard you could, like, take phone calls, all
yeah.
kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, and they're wild, dude. Like, just to like bring it back into like the technology like side of things. Like, it's when I first got them, I was showing everybody because I'm like, dude, put these on. Like, it's crazy. And then I just start
Yeah.
playing music and they're like, where is it coming from? I'm like, dude, I don't know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they came out recently with like they have like a wristband and like I don't even know how
And
to explain it.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
They're the ones that have, like, the screen inside the lens
Yeah,
and, like,
yeah.
you move the screen with a wristband, like,
Yep,
you
and you
can
could
yeah, it's like some Iron Man,
yeah.
Tony Stark stuff. I'm like, "What the hell is going on?"
Dude, no, it is similar to like a Tony Stark kind of vibe.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's wild, and I just it's crazy. Like I don't know, dude. I don't know what era we're living in, bro. But dude, the future is here, man, and it's just I think it's great, man. I think it's really cool. But whenever I talk to my dude, it's so funny talking to my grandparents about AI and all this
Yeah.
technology. They're just like, "Get it away from me! I don't want to hear nothing." Of that." You know
Yep.
what I'm saying?
Yep. 100%. My mom's the same way. I'm
Yep.
like, "Mom, I got this agent doing, like, 10 different tasks for me. It's, operating majority of my business." Like, "What the"
Right?
Yeah,
And
which
it's
is
just
crazy.
yeah, no, it's great. It's great. It is wild. I think it's awesome, and I could talk about AI all day because it's another thing too, where it's like you said before, it's either you adapt or you fall behind, and that's something that me and some of my homies talk about. Is like, well, we have to learn to adapt and stuff like that, and it's crazy too because a lot of people, dude, like kids in like middle school, high school are going in, they're learning how to use the video AI, and they're just creating like whole pages with AI and earning money off of it. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? I don't know if you've heard about like these TikTok slash YouTube pages that are strictly like AI models.
Yeah, the
But
theme pages kinda
yeah,
deal, yeah.
yep, and they make yeah, these kids are straight up getting silver play buttons, golden play buttons
Yeah.
just off of the AI. So I always compare it, and it's just a great quote because I'm low key kind of in like the finance like side of things, and it's great because this is like a quote I always hear is like, the internet made like a bunch of millionaires in 15 years.
Yeah.
But AI is about to make a lot of those same millionaires, but in just 5. You know what I mean?
100%.
So it's like if you think about those numbers, it's like holy crap! Like AI is about to make everyone rich. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And if you don't adapt, then you're just gonna fall behind, like we were saying before.
100%. And
Mhm.
I think about that stuff all the time because
Yeah.
I'm super interested in, like, finance, Bitcoin, AI, just
Yes.
the way
Cool.
the world is going. And it's like, if you think about it, you had the Industrial Revolution. All the money was in the oil, working the trades, equipment, running businesses in that way.
Sweet.
And now we're in the tech revolution where it's
Yeah.
like the first iPhone came out. I think I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Yep.
So I don't know, 15 years ago, we'll say. And now like you got glasses that you're Tony Starking it on, you know, like
Right. Yeah, it's insane.
yeah, it's evolving quicker than any other.
And I like how you brought up the Industrial Revolution because, dude, I get super into I'm super into books too.
Nice.
And another like because I read about Rockefeller recently,
Yeah.
and what Rockefeller did was absolutely insane. Like he really did kind of shape the whole like he really did shape oil and like everything to his demand, if you will. You know what I'm
He
saying?
was a G man.
He was a G, dude.
Yeah.
Like he was a pimp, bro. Like I don't know. Like reading about him was so great, and it just gives me an idea of how people used to think back then, bro. When everything was so slow, everything was on a railroad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, dude, now here we're sending messages via the air. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like back then, they had to send letters. Even before then, they had the little bottles and they just sent it in the ocean. Hopefully, it makes it there. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy to think about how much the human race has kind of evolved over the last like 50, 100 years even. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? I don't know. I'm fascinated with history.
Yeah, me too, man. And like, yeah, one of the stories I love about Rockefeller is I think he was the second largest oil company, and he was negotiating to buy the biggest oil company. And it's like, I will overpay you. And this guy's like, oh, you're dumb. Like, okay, you'll pay me this much money for what I got. That's way more than I deserve.
Mm-hmm.
He buys it. Now he owns the entire market of the oil, shoots the price up. It's like, that's insane.
Yeah,
And
bro.
seems like that's kind of what OpenAI is trying to do in some of these large tech companies.
Yep. They're kind of yeah. No, sorry to cut you off, but it does kind of seem that way, like where it's not necessarily big bank take little bank. It's just they want like just like the control, if you will,
Yeah.
and that's why bringing up Rockefeller is so great because. Man, he was like the Genghis Khan of business. You know what I'm saying?
100%, yeah.
And dude, not a lot of people know about it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And yeah, man, I don't know. I could talk about Rockefeller all day, dude. I think it's great.
Yeah.
All right, we kind of went off track, but a little bit. But like, so what were some of your favorite moments in helping businesses, dude? Because I love seeing those wholesome moments. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, what were some of your like wholesome slash favorite moments in helping out businesses and yeah, just kind of get into like a story, if you will.
100%. I would say like on the business side, it's not the most ideal to work with startups.
Okay.
But when I first moved to Boise, Idaho, I met Garrett, which was the detailer. He owns Red Revive Auto Care,
Okay. Cool.
and he was working a part-time job at I think it was Econo's, that
Mm.
steak spot.
Yeah. Great spot, by the way.
Yeah, and he's running his detailing business. I think he's like a year younger than me or so.
Oh wow.
But um, we got him on. He took the risk to, spend a bunch of money to do marketing, to grow his business. I believe his parents wanted him to go to college and things like that. And, he was doing like, I don't know, maybe 2 grand a month, 3 grand a month in his detailing business, working part time.
Yeah.
And we worked with him. We still work with him to this day. And right now he's doing 15, 20 grand a month in
Wow.
revenue. And so it's awesome to just see that transition. That's
Yeah.
my favorite, because
Yeah.
like, I come from a home. My mom wanted me to go to college. She's like, you got to do this. And then, a year later, I'm like, you know how people pay all this money to go to college to learn software engineering? Well, this AI bot's coding up softwares for me. Like,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah. Now that's all, dude. Trust me, I get it. It's a hard conversation. I'm the same exact way. I come from the same kind of home where it's like they really push me to either go to college or go to the military or like to have like a foundation. And I think it's probably because my family does have that military background, so they were always really trying to get me to go to college or to do the military. But for me, like I was getting super into social media and super into like videography. So I just didn't see the payout of going to college and spending all this money in tuition
yeah,
where I could well cuz like cuz I have like college credits I was taking a college course in high school and I learned a lot during that class of business because I was thinking about it. I'm like why would I spend all this dump a huge like bucket of money on a degree that I might not even use?
yeah,
And that's what I hear a lot of people going through is they're getting this they're going through college, they're getting this degree and then they still end up in like they still end up just in debt and not even using their degree to begin with. And that was one of my biggest fears, is being like, I don't want to be that.
Yeah.
I don't want to be put in that position. So I was just like, all right, let me just take a small chunk of what tuition would be and buy a camera, get a new car, and just make sure that I'm able to get places to like point A to point B like without question. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And that's, dude. Ever since then, ever since I made that leap, dude, it's been such a great experience, you know. And
100%.
the podcast has kind of taken a life of its own. So it's just like, man, it's I'm great. I'm happy and grateful that I did make that risk because, and dude, if I was stuck at a computer, I'd hate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this is, dude, this is what I like. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? That
Sick.
yeah, this is where I'm best at,
Yeah.
and it's cool to finally have them see like, oh wow, this actually might go places, you know, and yeah, like getting people like you on and getting other folks on is just like, dude, like it's my passion, you know, and that's
Yeah.
something that I see kind of with you with the marketing and the ads and stuff like that, man. So it's just cool. It's just cool. It's just great to talk about that passion, if you will, you know.
Yeah. 100%, man. I think that that's the way to go. And like to come back to the whole school thing,
Yeah.
my business partner, he's the CTO of Grove Operations, so he does all the delivery on the AI builds.
Okay,
And
cool.
he went to college for computer science. Before we got into business together, he was already running a very successful company. And I asked him, like, did you ever use your degree? And he's like, no, I'm excited to actually, get in and do these AI builds. 'Cause
Right.
it's some stuff that I paid to learn. So,
Yeah. Okay, that's great. Like I love hearing those stories too, because I think with the computer science degree, it definitely would help with the whole AI thing, you know?
he's way more tech savvy than I am.
Oh, I bet, yeah, dude. I have a buddy who builds like who's also into computer science and all that stuff. He recently went to the Air Force. Shout out Colton, but man, whenever I go over to his house and he shows me his stuff on the computer, I don't even know what's going on. Like, and he can build a computer from scratch and all that stuff. So it's just like, it's like I thought I knew tech, and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, there's levels to this.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
100%.
Like, definitely. Yeah, definitely. And it's cool, you know, and that's why, because I'm the kind of guy, I like to be like the jack of all trades. You know, I like to learn like kind of something up to like an apprenticeship or to like a little above like an intermediate stage, and then be like, all right, cool, I learned a lot, and then now I'm on to the next trade or something like that. You
Yeah.
know, and that's one thing that I've been doing with network marketing recently, has been just because, dude, I've always been so afraid. Like one of my biggest fears was like going out in public and being in like embarrassing myself, right?
Right.
But ever since I got into like kind of the comedy and to the podcast, dude, like it's been interesting fighting that fear, you know?
Yeah.
And that's why I always tell people too, when they get in front of the camera, was it's just like, you know, act like they're not there, and it makes a big difference, you know, where you're
100%.
just sitting there and just we're having a regular conversation,
Right.
right? And dude, thankfully you've had experience with podcasts and stuff like that. So it just makes it so much more easier when, because like, dude, I've had people in here with like it's their first time in a podcast, and you know they're a little shy, you know.
Right.
But it's we've all been there, and that's why it's so cool just seeing people grow, you know. And that's why, dude, social media is huge. And I guess recently, like my dad started to get into like the whole social media thing and stuff like that too.
Nice.
And seeing him kind of learn and adapt and grow has been really interesting, you know. And well, because like you said, we grew up with it, you know. Like I got my first email when I was like 11, you know. So just I don't know, it's just so interesting hearing I guess seeing like that older generation trying to like, all right, yeah, this is a thing, you know.
100%.
And it's just cool.
Yeah. And it's crazy. I mean, like Alex Hermosi, I remember he made a video a while ago and it was like, I wasn't on social media. I was, working. I was a traditional business guy. This is how I did things. I thought it was a joke.
Mm.
And then I think it was like the Kardashians or something like that launched a makeup brand. Boom, they're doing, eight figure months.
Right.
And Alex Hermosi's like, what's the difference between the Kardashians and me? And it's like the brand online. That's all it
Mhm.
was. And then now Alex Hermosi posts like a million times a day.
Right. Wow, that's kind of interesting. I like that.
Yeah.
I never even thought about it like that either, because it's like, wow, yeah, no, that was like an epiphany for me, because it's like a lot of people struggle with just with marketing in general, you know?
Right.
And they don't think about like all the back end stuff that has to go into it, you know what I mean? So it's just been a big conversation with me, at least with the marketing and promotion, because it's like, dude, it just takes a lot of I guess mental, like, because it depends, because if like a lot of people, like for me, like I do this by myself, but a lot of the time people do need that help, you know.
100%.
And like for me, I don't know, I just like being like the one guy that just does everything, you know. But sometimes you do run into those roadblocks where it's like, oh crap, I do need help, you know.
Yeah.
And a lot of people struggle for sure, and you can even attest to this, a lot of people struggle to ask for that help, you know.
Oh yeah.
So it's just like, it's just learning and adapting, like we've been saying, you know.
Yep. 100%, bro.
And uh, another question I had was, if there was like a city or a state that you would start to go to, like what would the city or state be?
Yeah, I'm launching ads in Salt Lake this month.
Okay, cool.
Because I've got a couple clients down there. It's a big market,
Yeah.
so I think Salt Lake. I thought about going like Coeur d'Alene, Spokane too, and kind
Oh,
of just
okay.
expanding in Idaho.
Yeah, I like that.
So those are kind of my two options right now, and just keep building in the Treasure Valley, and
Awesome, dude.
probably go Salt Lake 'cause it's 4 hours, and then Spokane, Coeur d'Alene area as well.
Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, because I don't know, sometimes I get it. Like sometimes it's like, oh, I kind of want to keep it a secret, so it's just cool.
Yeah,
It's just cool that, you know, because for me, I thought you would have been like, because a lot of people, they go to Vegas, a lot of people go to Seattle, a lot of people go to California. So when you say you want to keep all of it in Idaho, dude, that just makes me happy, bro. Because
100%.
a lot of folks build here and then they expand, you know, and no shade to them, you know, that's great, especially if you reach like a certain market or a certain place that values you a little bit more. But for me, I really do have cool street credit points, if you will, like when with people who stick with the valley, you know.
Yeah,
And dude, like I said before, whenever I see your ads or just different like businesses, I think it's great, man, because a lot of people just don't know what they're doing, you know.
right.
So it's just awesome, man. It really is cool to see people grow, you know. And that's one thing that I tend to talk about on the podcast a lot, is just seeing the growth and seeing the evolution of things, you know?
Yeah, that's the best part is just to see the growth, and yeah, it's crazy how fast time can change things if you put in the work.
Yeah,
Insane.
that's one thing that I've noticed too, is that I sometimes tend to, I guess, like I'm like a workaholic sometimes, and I tend to
Yep.
overwork myself. But recently in the 2026 kind of era, if you will, I've been learning how to like kind of pace myself and just being consistent. I think consistency is like really the key thing into all to everything. I think, you know, this discipline and consistency is the best. You know.
100%. Do
Yeah.
you know who Tony Robbins is?
Yes, he's the goat, bro. Like, oh, he's great. Like, he's
Yeah,
great. Dude, I tend to listen to him whenever I have like off time, but anything that comes out of his mouth, bro, is like gold, bro. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And I think recently I heard that he's like an advisor to presidents and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
believe it, man.
it's crazy how much he's grown. You know,
Yeah.
you should get into Tony Robbins, because I feel like I know a little bit about him, but there's always so much more to learn. You know?
Yeah, the one thing I wanted to touch on that Tony Robbins talks a lot about is the push and pull. I know that him and Alex
Mm,
Hermosi did a podcast
okay.
because Alex Hermosi is very like work, work, work. I'm up at 4, I'm going to bed at 12. I'm sleeping minus 1 hour.
Right.
You know, and so Tony Robbins, when they did that podcast, he's like, in work, you've got your push and your pull. You've got your push, which is Alex Hermosi going hard. I'm just gonna get it done. It's about discipline. It's about just forcing myself to do it, taking away distractions, and then you've got your pull, which is I'm motivated to help the youth get better at business or whatever that why is behind it,
Yeah.
where it's really pulling you to work instead of you having to push through it. And
Okay.
and I love that about what Tony says.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think it's awesome.
I've never really thought about that. I never really thought about it like that because, man, that is something that I think about too. Is like because like sometimes I have kids watching the podcast, and it's weird when families come up to me and they're like, "Oh, I can't wait for Saturday night or Saturday evening when you drop your podcast." And dude, to me, it's like what? Like I have families watching me. Like
Yeah,
it's bizarre. You know what I mean? It's just weird. But that's when I tend to take a step back and be like, all right, what am I doing this for, and the why?
yeah,
And that's something recently, dude, that I've learned is the why is so important. And a lot of people don't have that why. A lot of people are just mindlessly doing what they do. And, shout out them, but the why, man, the why is really what pushes me to do everything,
100%.
It's so great you bring up Tony Robbins, bro, because man, like he is such a legend in terms of just not just in terms of finance or just getting like the freedom or whatever the case may be, but just in life, just life lessons in general.
Yeah,
And yeah, I'm glad you brought up Tony Robbins, bro, because it's like, man, he is one of those people that I would spend a lot of money to go to watch, just to go listen to one of his seminars or whatever.
100%. Me too.
Yeah,
Like he's an interesting guy because he's like a jack of all trades, like you said. Like
yeah,
he's a phenomenal business guy. He's giving people like marriage counseling, like you name it. He's out there just throwing out value.
dude, that's so great. That's great. Shout out Tony, man. Like being able to. Ah, man, that's why I just think we have a great chemistry, dude. Because it's like we're kind of thinking the same thing. And I'm 23, so we're
Nice.
we're on that same I guess age. Uh, yeah, we're in that same age group. You know what I mean? So I just think it's great that we could come talk about whatever, and that's why I love the structure of the podcast because it's just like a free form kind of thing. And it's man, Tony Robbins. That's great. That's great. So let's see. Getting back into the questions, I guess to kind of shift it a little bit. What are some places you'd like to visit for vacations? And what are some places that you have visited for vacation?
Yeah. Some of the places that I have visited, I've gone to Cancun, Mexico.
Nice.
Went with my family when I was like 18 or 19, still selling insurance at that time. Um, and then, I mean, to be honest, I kind of, as a kid, I did like almost all the little things. Like I had a drop shipping store at like 15 that
Oh
never,
wow, that's awesome.
yeah, never marketed it, never made money through it, but I like built it out, just
Yeah.
trying all different kinds of things. And so when I was selling insurance, I started an alkaline supplement company.
Oh shoot.
So I was selling like the CMOS, She Legit,
Yeah.
Katana oil, stuff like
That's
that.
awesome.
And I went down to Guatemala to like, go meet the supplier
Oh
and hang
wow.
out with the natives, and that was really cool.
Wow.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Dang, that's awesome. I never would have guessed that,
Yeah,
dude.
just like it was a random business, but it was cool, and yeah, it did decent numbers, but had to get into the marketing at the end of the day because
Mm-hmm.
can't sell supplements, can't sell insurance without sales and marketing.
Yeah, dude. That's awesome. So what were like some of the big lessons you learned, I guess? And dude, you were so young. I can't even imagine. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, so what were some of the lessons you've learned, like going into like doing your startups and stuff like that? Like, I think that's awesome. What the heck?
Yeah, I think that probably the biggest lesson that I learned, or the two biggest lessons that I learned, is that anything can work if you put in the work.
Mm.
Like, especially like our age demographic, it's hard for a lot of guys our age because they're like, like, what should I do? What business model is going to get me to where I can support a family, have kids, things like that, buy a house? And then you jump on Instagram and there's all these kids our age ripping Lamborghinis, selling courses, and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, anything can work if you put in the work. It doesn't matter what's the best business model, especially if it's your first one.
Mm-hmm.
And then going into the second lesson, it's like the only way that I got into sales and marketing, like what I do now, is because of all these startups. It was just stepping stones.
Right.
I implemented things that I learned from this business into this business and just understood business as a whole a lot more from
Cool.
trying and failing over and over and over.
Yeah, man. That's awesome, dude. That's knowledge for a lot of people. Shoot, that I'm even learning a lot. Just having this conversation now. And it's just a great opportunity for people to be like, hey, if he did it, so can I.
100%.
You
Yeah.
know. So that's why it's just great from hearing folks, especially in our age group, because a lot of people they don't take that I don't always say this. I've said this on the podcast a lot, but the biggest step is step 0 to step 1. And that's what I've always tell people is that just once you take that first step, it's a lot easier to get up those steps. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's kind of something that you like reiterated earlier, like just now. And it's just a great learning lesson for everybody, you know?
Yeah.
And it's cool that, you could share that stuff too, because a lot of people they do a startup, they have it for a couple years, and then they're just like, all right, back to the 9 to 5,
Right.
and sometimes with people like sometimes with people it's that's hard, and I understand, and I guess I'm lucky because I don't have to necessarily like take care of a family or whatever. The only family I have is my cat and my computer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's like it's easier for me to just be like, oh, let's just do something. But a lot of
Right.
a lot of people do have kids they take care of, or a wife they take care of, and all like a house to take care of. So sometimes I do get that challenge, if you will, and that's why it's always interesting for me to hearing different perspectives because man, I just learned so much, and that's another thing too that people like tend not to do is that ask questions. It's just so
Right.
easy to be like, hey, like what did you do or what did you learn, and man, it's a big learning lesson for a lot of people,
100%. Yeah, it's tough out there,
Yeah.
especially like is it okay if I get into something a little controversial?
Of course, bro.
All
Yeah,
right,
you got the
man.
floor, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
dude, go for it, bro.
So, I mean, yeah, I like AI cuz it makes things faster, easier, more efficient,
Mhm.
but I wouldn't say I'm like a very compliant guy. And so I'm getting to the vaccine, you
Right.
know.
Okay, you don't go for it, dude.
And so
Get
the
into it.
vaccine put so many young families and older families in such a difficult position that kind of made me look at it like I need to find a way to make my own money.
Yeah, man.
Because if you have 3 or 4 kids at home and a wife, probably an expensive wife,
Yeah.
um, and you work for a government entity or whatever the case, school district, any kind of job that requires you to get a vaccine to go to work, that's a really difficult position to be in because
Yeah,
if
man.
you don't bring in that money, your kids and your wife's not going to eat.
Yep.
Are you going to put this vaccine in your body that's been researched for not very long? Or are you going to provide for the family?
Yeah. Dude,
Go.
I'm glad you brought up the vaccine too, and like that's why this podcast is great because we can talk about it. You know what I mean? Because it's something we should talk about.
Yeah.
And I guess a crazy example of that too was dude, people in the military. Like the people in the military were not allowed to go do anything during the pandemic, man, unless you did get the jab, quote unquote. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And dude, that's such a great thing you bring that up too because I was the same exact way, bro. Because my whole family worked in a restaurant during the pandemic, and then once the pandemic hit, it was a really big, like kind of eye opening situation, and that's when I really deep dove into the social media thing,
Yeah.
because I'm like, all right, there's people out there that are just chilling, I'm watching these YouTubers being like, oh yeah, well I know a lot of other people are struggling, but all I have to do is make like internet money, you know what I'm
Just
saying?
got to post a video a day,
Exactly. So I
Yeah.
was like, all right, so how can I get into this and how can I be successful at it? And that's kind of that was the journey of me getting into the whole thing. And dude, it's crazy cuz I mean, I'm guessing you graduated 2022, 2021.
Yeah, 2022.
Okay, yeah, I graduated 2021, and a lot of people during our that era of graduation, like people were like confused. A lot of people's schooling got messed up because they couldn't go to school or they couldn't get the right mentoring or whatever the case may be. And man, it's just great you bring up the pandemic, dude, because it was a big like I said earlier, a big eye opener for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And man, like it's just interesting on like cuz dude, a lot of people were scared, and like a lot of people were like and then a lot of people didn't know that there was barely any research done for the vaccine. And dude, I heard, and people could fact check me if I'm wrong, but dude, I heard that they really didn't do a lot of like tests, if you will, like with the mRNA, and with it being mRNA, that's like a whole different vaccine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I hate getting into the topic because I feel like I don't know enough
Right.
about
I
it,
feel that.
dude. But I do know a lot, like where it's like, no, this is an mRNA vaccine, and it's not like the cat because they sold it as like the classic vaccine, but realistically, it's gene therapy.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, so what's going on here? And then they had all these like the blood clots and like the heart stuff like come up, and it's like, dude, we live in such a crazy era. But also, people don't like to mention that these pharmaceutical companies, bro, and I talk about pharmaceutical companies all the time on the podcast. They made billions of dollars,
Oh
bro.
yeah, they're earning.
Billions of dollars where it's like, holy, like, and then a lot of people just, and dude, I was the same way. I trust my doctor and stuff like that too. But dude, recently I'm like, all right, I'm my own doctor and I know my body, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And low key, like just from experience, dude, I got low key sicker from taking the vaccine because I only took the vaccine once. I got more sick taking the vaccine than COVID actually hit me, you know what I mean? So after I recovered from the vaccine, I'm like, all right, so what's really going on here, you know?
yeah.
And it was such a different, dude. Loki felt like The Walking Dead back then, bro. Where it's like, what's gonna happen? Like, we have no idea. Like, is it getting better? Is it not getting better? They're mixing up the numbers and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Like,
Is it gonna be martial law tomorrow? You know,
yeah,
like
dude.
it was crazy.
It was pretty wild, bro. And it's like I said, bro. I'm just happy. I'm low key blessed to be like in America too, because a lot of like Idaho wasn't really cracking down as much as like some other states were.
Yeah,
And I was just, man, so extremely lucky and blessed that we lived in Idaho and like they were a lot more lenient, I guess, if you will, because we only had to go to school, like we got to go to school 2 days out of the week, and then the rest was online. But man, like just thinking about it now, it was such a crazy era, dude. And a lot of the time too, like people, the craziest thing about the whole situation was flying and like airfare stuff because you low key did need the vaccination card in order to fly, you know? So
yeah,
I just think it was such a crazy time back then. And yeah, bro, I just stayed inside and I was just yeah, dude, it was so wild. What was your kind of experience with the vaccine, or not the vaccine, but with the whole pandemic?
yeah. I mean, it was pretty similar to yours. I would say I was in southern Utah, so it wasn't like locked down like some of those other places like California or whatever the case. But
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, we went to school. Everybody wore a mask. I got sent home multiple times because it was like, oh, you sat next to someone that tested positive for COVID.
Right.
Um, but yeah, still had a graduation, so that was nice. But yeah, it was an interesting time, and I was like just in high school. Really, all my worries was like, keep money coming through the door and make sure that I get through school.
Yep.
Um, just kind of high school stuff.
Yep. Yeah.
But
Classic stuff.
yeah, it wasn't too bad. I'm thankful that I was in Utah and not some of those other states.
Yeah, man. And because like a lot of those other states are still like wear a mask, and it's like, dude, that's that's past time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and now it's like regular. It's so weird because
Yeah.
like this brand new virus that's gonna kill the world. We need to get vaccines. 2, 3 years later, it's like, oh yeah, I got COVID for the weekend. Like I can't come to work. It's like
Yeah.
that changed quick.
Dude, no, yeah, the narrative and everything did change quick, and man, I'm thankfully too. I was listening to a lot of Joe Rogan back then,
Yeah,
and like I listened to Rogan before the pandemic, but I started listening to Rogan like religiously during the pandemic because, dude, I felt like he was the only news source that wasn't just like,
bunch of crap.
yeah, a bunch of crap and
Yeah,
propaganda. You know what I mean? And he had actual like scientists on, and during that time, they were like kicking people off of like the internet for talking about data and stuff like that.
a
And it's,
100%.
dude, it was such a crazy time, man. And I don't know, yeah,
Yeah, it's crazy world out there, man.
yeah,
It's got a good podcast name. It's like,
right.
What's going on, dude?"
Yeah. Dude, no, seriously, and it's, yeah, man, it is what it is. I think it's great, like having these freeform conversations because without them, bro, I don't know where we would be. We'd low key be like little bots and following in line. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy to have this platform because it gives people the free space and like the safe of mind. I'm trying to think of the right phrase, but yeah, basically like having that space to just be like, all right, yeah, this is what I think, and it's great hearing people's opinions too because a lot of people's opinions are different, and that's what makes us us. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And that's something that frustrated me during the pandemic because they all wanted us to think the same,
right.
and I'm like, dude, that's not like that's complete contradiction on like the human spirit, if you will.
Yeah,
Like, yeah, we all do like similar stuff, but we all have differences in a way.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think these conversations are so valuable to like put online as well as just have because it's the same concept of like if they can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
If I'm thinking this way and I don't know that anybody else is thinking this way and I jump on YouTube and I watch a conversation of people talking about the way that I'm thinking, it's
Yeah.
like it's reassurance. It's
Yes.
so
Yeah, dude,
I think
definitely.
they're good to have.
Yeah, dude, definitely. And isn't it wild? It's almost already been an hour.
Dang, yeah, we've just been ripping, dude.
Yeah. That's all. I always compare. I always compare it in here as like a time machine, man.
Yeah,
Like you
pretty
really,
much.
when we get into it, man, it's just great, and it's such a great it's a great time to just just have a conversation, man. Because a lot of the time people, and I guess like I don't know, with Idaho, it's such a new place, and I guess to bring it back with the pandemic, dude, Idaho blew up out of nowhere. You
I
know what I'm
did.
saying? So it's just really cool. It's really cool to have folks like just to have folks on and just to talk about the whole Idaho thing because a lot of people don't know, and that's one thing that I've noticed with posting about Idaho is that a lot of people from like a lot of people out of the like a lot of people nationwide want to know like like how is it in Idaho,
Yeah.
and it's so funny. But recently, like I've been hearing memes and stuff about like how Idaho's it's a government conspiracy or something like just some
Yeah.
crazy shit like that. I'm like, all right, that's kind of like out of
I love
pocket.
Idaho.
Yeah, dude, that's it. I know that I'm the same way, bro. It's hard for me to want to move because it's just a great place to be. You know,
Yeah,
I don't know.
100%, man. And yeah, that's why I came here is because I just heard like California's moving in, it's growing fast, lots of opportunity, and I think um I would definitely fact check this, but I
Yeah,
think St. George, Utah, and Boise, Idaho were like 1 and 2 for the best places
I think you're right.
for young adults and financial opportunities,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
No,
So
seriously. No, I think you're right, and we can always double check it. But I think you are right, where it was like a lot of people were flooding, not even just from California, but even from like I heard like a lot of people from like down south and more eastern places. Like, cause I had someone recently on who they're from North Carolina,
yeah,
and they moved all the way from over here, and it's like wow, you just think about like how far that reach really went. You know what I'm saying? Especially
all
during
the
the
way
pandemic.
across the country.
Yeah, right. So it's just like wow, like and dude, there's this one time I don't know why this came up. The thought came up, but dude, I was doing door to door sales a long time ago, and I knocked on these people's door, and they were from Australia. I'm like,
Yeah, man.
what? Like
It's
what? And it was all the way in like Payette or something like that. So I'm like, okay, that's crazy. You know what I mean? I
yeah.
just met someone from Australia. Like
Living in
it's just wild.
Payette, Idaho, like, how did you even find this place, man?
Right?
Like,
It's crazy. I don't know. It's great, man. It's a really cool thing because a lot, dude. You talk to like my parents or like other people's parents, and they like keeping Idaho small or whatever the case may be. But dude, for me, like growing up, I think it's great. The city and the state is growing so much because now there is a lot more opportunities. I mean, you see all the construction going on and stuff like that. It's just like it's great, you know.
yeah,
And a lot of the time too, like the people, especially the older generations, they want to keep it normal. But dude, for me, I like it when things are evolving and stuff like that, like we were saying before. But yeah,
yeah.
man.
Things are gonna change, and so
Yep.
at least they're changing for the better, bringing more jobs in. And
Mm-hmm.
I've talked with a lot of like other younger entrepreneurs that are like, "Hey, man, are you down to connect? I grew up here, but I haven't really met anybody doing similar things.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome to be able to connect that way with the
Yep.
internet's help as well. So
Mm-hmm.
it's sick.
Yeah, dude, it's really nice. It's really nice, and yeah, now that you mentioned that, it has been wild because there is like a small nick like content like creator community here, and just dude, just recently I've been seeing so much more people post, and like it's great to have that, and people build off the energies too. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So like, because a lot of, and this is just a recent conversation I had with people. A lot of people see folks and they might get like this envious feeling where it's like, oh, that should be me. But for me, I see someone or something doing great, and that pushes me to do better.
Yeah,
You know?
100%. Yeah.
So like, I don't know, like it's just great to have these, like you were saying before, like these reassuring conversations where it's like, yeah, man, like you gotta do what you gotta do, and just just keep it going. You know what I'm saying?
100%, man.
Yeah. But if there was anything you'd like to say, I think now would be like the time to say it. You know what I'm saying? We're kind of reaching like the outro of the podcast where it's like I put the question. There is no more questions. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like the freestyle, if you will. But yeah,
Yeah, I would just like to leave the people off with if I can do it, you can do it.
yes, sir. Great, short and sweet. You know what I'm saying? And
No,
thank y'all if you guys made it this far. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in and listening. Recently, my life has been so wild and just week by week, like snapping. You know what I'm saying? So I just appreciate everyone for tuning in and listening to the conversation, man. Because you know how it is. Like before, when I made the podcast, it almost felt like I was talking to the abyss. You know.
yeah,
But now
100%.
recently, dude, like it's been so wild, and like next week, like I always have weekly podcasts, and I'm just so thankful and grateful that I've been put in this position because man, like just having conversations is so good, dude.
Yeah, dude.
So, like I said before, y'all, thank you for tuning in and appreciate you. If you made it this far, you're a real one. I love you all, and I think, yeah, what the fuck is going on?